Hey, so I am September, and welcome to your ultimate safe space. So let's visit these chapters. These chapters that refuse to close, these characters that refuse to go away. What is the problem? Right? So I've gotten to a point to where I say we've gone past closing chapters. We're not closing chapters anymore. Let's close the whole book, right? Because if you're like me, you spent a lot of time living in the past. And that's not helping in the growth and development of your progress, right? So I've learned what I do now is, you know what? You can have the chapter. You can have it. I don't want it because I'm closing the whole doggone book. That's how I am going to get past this space in my life that is no longer relevant. I had an experience not too long ago with a character from a past chapter, and it was someone who was always in and out of my life, not physically but mentally and emotionally. And I never understood why. Like, why do you keep coming back? What is the problem? What are we doing here? Right? And it was I realized that there was never closure. It was we just kind of moved on and went our own way and did our own thing, but there was never any real closure. And closure is a big deal. I don't think people really realize how much impact the lack or failure to close the chapter in your past can have on your present and your future. And I didn't really realize it until this person just kept coming back. And I'm like, will you please just go away? Why are you here? But it was okay because this last and final time was the last and final time. And it was on mutual grounds. It was amicable. It was a beautiful thing because I realized in that moment that that's what I needed. It wasn't, I still had a reserve for this individual. It was because I never had closure. You know, things went crazy. I went this way, they went that way, but it was never a communication on what happened or why. So that lack of closure kept the door open. So I kept rereading that chapter, if you will, of my life over and over and over again. And when you do that, when you live in that, you cannot progress because you're still holding on to things that no longer belong there. You have to remove certain people, certain things, we're going to continue with characters. You have to remove these characters from your story so you can write in new ones, if that makes sense. So we're done closing chapters. We're going to close the whole doggone book and start a new one so we can move on, so we can progress, so we can live a different life. Because you cannot bring in new or make room for new when you're still holding on to old things, especially when those things are no longer serving you. They no longer have a purpose in your life and in your space. So close the chapter, close the book. Let's move on so we can progress and we can live happy, worry-free lives without old chapters and old characters constantly coming back, invading our mental space, right? Let's start a new book and allow it to be characters that actually serve you in your new space, in your new environment. No more chapters, new books.